Very good afternoon to all of you. Uh, I welcome you back to our session that we are undergoing in Block 3, which comprises of management control process. Already in this block, in the last session, we had seen the previous unit, that is Unit 9, where we talked about the management control process. Today we shall be looking at Unit 10, that is performance management. Now, when we discussed about Unit 9, which tried to throw light on about the, we can say, the budgeting process and the reporting within an organization, that means which comes under the ambit of management control process. There we saw different types of budget, characteristics of budget, how the budgets are implemented. Then we saw about reports, what are the various type of reports for different level of management that we have seen. Now, in an organization, when we plan certain activities and the actual period of activities starts, or as it goes on, we have to measure the performance. The performance may be of the output, may be of the human resources. Now, the question we are trying to answer in this particular unit is, how shall we measure the performance? What is the performance measurement mean to us? How shall we measure it? What things it tries to convey us when we measure it? So these are the things that we shall be looking at in this particular unit under performance measurement. The performance measurement helps to make judgments about effectiveness and efficiency of programs, processes, and people. Now, when we talk about performance management, there we talk about effectiveness and efficiency. That means how much we are able to accomplish regarding the tasks or the programs or the processes and the human resources. When we measure the performance, then it allows the managers to frame certain kind of visualization regarding the performance, whether the performance is according to the required or the requirement of the organization. Is it falling behind the requirement of the organization, or is it beyond or above the requirement? So accordingly, the management, be it the top level, be it the executive level or the middle level, or the operational management or the lower level, they will be taking necessary steps. So here indicators are used to measure the progress in meeting strategic goals and objectives. Now what we do, we have certain kind of indicators. For example, let us take the example of a thermometer. If we put the thermometer, then we can know the temperature of the body of a human being or any other living thing or any other thing at any given point of time. Now, if we look carefully at the thermometer, in the past days, there used to be certain scaled things on the thermometer body, and by looking at the scale and where the line of the temperature is coming up to, we can know what is the temperature of the body. Nowadays we are using the digital thermometers that works also in the same way. It will be showing you at what level the temperature is in digital form. So this is one typical example. We can have thousands and thousands of examples of indicators that helps us to say about what are the results or how we can achieve the results. So in performance measurement, we use the indicators. Why? To measure the progress in meeting the long-term goals or strategic goals and objectives of the organization. Now, when we say strategic goals, it may be long-term. When we talk about objectives, we may be talking about the short-term goals. Sorry. Sorry. Meeting strategic goals and objectives. Right. Now, what we do there, whatever data is there, we gather it or collect it and analyze the performance. Analysis means what is our performance? Is it lagging behind? Is it up to the set standards, or it is going above the standards or working better than the standards? Now, when we have performance data and we can analyze and get some results, this helps the management to bring improvement in the organization. How can we improve it? Now, by taking necessary corrective steps and successfully translate strategy into action. Now, the long-term strategy of the organization can be broken down into actions where the performance or the measured performance of each of the action will be telling us whether the activities are going as per the requirement, and in other words, are we achieving the strategic requirements? Now, this performance measurement, we take the help of certain tools. The tools helps manager to control the results of their organization. Now, here we are talking about managers, top level managers. They take the help of performance management or measures, and with that they try to find out whether we are going towards the strategic or the goals of the organization. If we look at middle level, they will be talking about, or the executive level, they will be taking decisions regarding the performance in the medium term or on a weekly basis or monthly basis. Similarly, the indicators will help the managers to take decisions on day-to-day basis. So, this tools of performance management helps managers to control the results of their organization. Now, performance measurement as a terminology, as a set of indicators or as a body of knowledge which will help to control the organization's strategy and goals has developed over the years. So if we look at the history of this performance management, we can have certain insights into that now. In 1949, Hoover Commission in USA proposed performance budgeting. Now, we have seen the budgeting process where every kind of activities of the organization are expressed in monetary terms and they are approved before they are actually carried out in the actual activities. Similarly, President Johnson implemented a program planning budgeting system. So the program's plans and the budgeting system was implemented in this particular president's era. In the last unit, or when we saw about the, we can say, the budgeting and reporting unit, there we saw about zero based budgeting. Now, zero based budgeting, it does not take the approach of traditional budgeting. What it tries to do? Now, it ignores all kind of past happenings. It starts from scratch level. That means level 0. Whatever action plan the manager has, they have to convince the top management regarding that in form of budgets. And they try to convince the top management why this budget should be approved. So if the management is of the view that yes, this particular budget will work out in the future, then they give the sanction or give a nod to go ahead. So Carter administration in USA advocate ZBB system or zero based budgeting system. Now in 1960s, Department of Defense in USA defined standards for management control systems. Now, what are the kind of indicators that will be used and what are the standards that are needed to be met for the various activities were defined for management control systems. In the year 2000, Kinnerly and Neely, they said that performance measurement should consist of the following things. What are the following things? Now, first is individual measures. We know that the organization's strategy can be broken down into small activities or individual activities. Now, for each individual activities, when we develop certain kind of indicators, then those are called as individual measures. So they have a focus on individual activities. Second, they said about set of measures. As we said, a number of activities combined together to form the strategy of the organization or to make the organization go towards its goal. So various activities may be having the different kind of measures for themselves. So when we take all the measures, then it makes a pool of them, or in other words, a set of measures which is usually used by the organization as a whole. So thinking of organization as a divided unit into activities, we talk about individual measures. When we talk of organization as a whole, the performance measurement is a set of measures. Then the third thing they spoke about is the supporting infrastructure. Now, whatever may be the indicator, what whatever may be the standard. So what we have to do? We have to gather the information. Once we have gathered the information, we try to record it. And whatever are the results that come out of it, we try to analyze it and interpret them as managers to have some kind of judgments that will have a positive impact on the organization's performance. So supporting infrastructure should be there in case of performance management. Now, when we are talking about measurement, let us have a look how traditionally paradigm, what was there about the measurement. When I say paradigm, it means a viewpoint. What was the view regarding the measurement in the yesteryears or traditional days? So, first viewpoint or the way we saw the measurement was measurement is threatening. Now, why threatening? The measurement may put in the mind of workers that if the performance is not up to the mark, the worker may face the consequences. So they try to think that measurement is threatening. Second thing, the second viewpoint of the paradigm about measurement was precision is essential. That means whatever are the outputs we are generating from the given set of activities or activity, precision is of utmost importance. When we say precision, that means it should be according to the required specifications. There cannot be any kind of deviations regarding the various outputs of the activity or the activities. Now, another viewpoint about measurement was a single indicator focus. What was happening when we talk about a single indicator? Let us think about, suppose, the organization as a whole. If we talk about profits, the net profits in general, we can say net profit is a single indicator for the organization. But in order to generate that kind of profit in the organization, a number of activities might have carried out. Some activities may have performed in a negative way. Some activities may have performed in a positive way. So those things are now ignored. So the focus is only in the single indicator. What happens there? Now we try to ignore if there are any kind of drawbacks or lacunas that are there in the activities which combine to form the net profits. Another thing is subjective measures are sloppy. When we say sloppy, it means there is no certain concrete basis regarding the measurement. Whatever one will be saying, other may disagree with that. Now, what are the subjective measures we are talking of? Now, the qualitative measures like the employee satisfaction or customer satisfaction, etc. Now, think about customer satisfaction. It is not that just like net profit as we did for a single indicator, net profit can be numerically found out. But customer satisfaction cannot be exactly found out by these numerical things. It will vary from person to person. So, if you are talking about any kind of subjective measures, customer satisfaction, etc., then the viewpoint traditionally was they are sloppy. Another viewpoint is standards act as ceiling on performance. Now, the performance of the organization are measured by certain kind of performance measure indicators. Now, those indicators will be having a certain set standard which has to be achieved. Thereby, what happens? A particular segment or division or employee of the organization, if they reach the set standard, then they think that yes, I have achieved my task. We have achieved our requirement. We have achieved our objective. And they look no further ahead. So whatever extra could have been generated for the organization is now forgone due to this kind of thought in the mind of the employees. So the standards act as ceiling on performance was a viewpoint traditionally regarding the measurement. Now, let us see what is the framework for performance measurement system. First, in order to have performance measurement system, we should know the purpose. When we say purpose, we should be able to answer the question like why we are measuring the performance of this particular activity, how it is going to serve us. So thereby what we do, we can know the performance measurement system for the activity has been set in order to measure this particular activity. So the purpose is the first thing in the framework. Second is right metrics. Now, suppose for any given activity, there may be a number of metrics available or measurement indicators may be available. So which one is correct? That has to be adopted. Out of a number of metrics, you have to adopt the best possible one or the right metrics. Next is Prioritize indicators. Now we say for an organization there will be a set of indicators. When we have a set of indicators, then if we look at all the indicators, we may get somewhat jumbled up. Our purpose of analyzing the activities performance or the processes or people's performance may get somewhat blurred. It will be difficult to know which activity was lagging behind or which indicator is better for our objective. So here we try to pinpoint or focus our attention on indicators that will be helpful to solve our purpose. Accordingly, we prioritize them. The most important indicator will be at the first, then like this it will go on according to the importances. Now let us look at the type of metrics. Now when we look at type of metrics, we have hard as well as soft metrics. Now what is a hard metric? In an organization, we can say the performance can be calculated as, suppose, cash flow. Another can be the net profit. Another can be profit before income tax as well as dividend. Similarly, a number of items will be there which can be exactly quantified. They can be expressed in numerical terms. So, these metrics which can be shown in numerical terms in exact form are called as hard metrics. In opposite to that, we also have soft metrics. There are many things or many activities or many items like customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, quality of the product, the market condition, our penetration into the market due to R&D, etc. cannot be quantified easily. We cannot express them in exact numerical terms. So these are called as soft metrics. Another way of describing the type of metrics is financial versus non-financial metrics. When we talk about financial metrics, we talk about the various kind of accounting information that comes out through various financial statements like profit loss statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, etc. So there we may find metrics like net profit, profit before taxes, profit after taxes, etc. So these are all financial metrics. Similarly, other activities which we do not find in the profit loss statement, etc., and cannot be explained in terms of financial values. We call them as non-financial metrics. Now, what are the targets for financial performance? Now, there we have divided into four different types. The targets. First one is the model versus historical performance versus negotiated performance targets. Now, what are these model targets? We know that we can have causal relationship between two or more variables. Suppose we say if we put 10 kg of input, our output will be 6 kgs. That means here we can say for every 10 kilo, 6 kg is the output, or output is 60% of the input. That means a mathematical relationship can be created between these two variables, which is nothing but a engineering model or engineered model. So this comes from the causal relationship. Another way of describing performance target is historical. Whatever has happened in the past, we try to see the trend present over there and try to foresee the future using that trend from the past data. So whatever are the past performance targets, looking at that, how they are moving in the past years, we try to extend it to the future years. The last one is negotiated performance targets. This is one of the widely used. The management, that means top to bottom, they all try to put their head in and think about the performance target for the next forthcoming period. That means there is a negotiation between the different levels of management for the forthcoming future year. That is called as negotiated performance target. Another way of showing the financial performance targets are the internal versus external. When we say internal, then let us look at an example. There are two divisions of an organization producing the same kind of product, but they are located at two different geographical locations. So what can happen there? There we can look at what is the performance target of one of the divisions, and using that we can set also the target for the other division of the organization. So either by using the other divisions targets or the processes inside the organization, we can set up the internal performance targets. Similarly, we can talk of the external performance targets. What we do there? Now we try to look at a similar industry, how they are setting their targets, what is their target. So this will give us an idea that how much target will be set for our organization. But here we are dependent on the external organization. In this context, we look at target costing and benchmarking also. Now, what is target costing? Uh, Let us take an example. Uh, we have come up with a product. Maybe it is a new product that has come into the market. Looking at the purchasing power and behavior of the customer, we want to set the price of the item at 100 rupees. Now, we want to have a profit of 20% on sales. So sales price is 100 rupees, 20% of that is 20 rupees. So sales minus profit will give us the overall cost of producing the item. So the overall cost of producing the item is 80 rupees. Now this 80 rupees cost can be divided into either the manufacturing cost, the office and administration cost, sales and distribution cost, etc. So what we have done here? Now first, looking at whatever should be the market price, we set up the cost of the product before the actual production goes in. When we know the cost that we have to adhere to, we call it as the target costing. The process is called as target costing. That means how much cost the product should have, that is set first. Then the production is done. Next is benchmarking. Now what we do here? In benchmarking, we try to adhere to either the government reports, the market surveys, the industry's performance, etc., where we try to link our performance target according to the information that we can collect from this kind of sources. It can be unilateral as well as cooperative. So when we are talking of unilateral, we are talking of a single basis for forming the performance target. When you are talking of cooperative, then you talk of a number of bases combined together to form our performance target. Another way of looking at financial performance target is fixed versus flexible. Now, the name itself, fixed performance target, once we have set it, it will not be changed in the time frame for which the target has been created. It will remain constant. Whereas the flexible performance target can be changed from time to time within the period for which it has been set up, dependent on the changing scenarios. The changing scenarios may be market conditions, may be consumer buying behaviors, may be the internal factors like cost of inputs, etc. So Fixed and flexible performance targets can also be used. Another way is achievement versus process. Now, organization as a whole, when it sets target, then how much the target has been achieved can be calculated by taking all the divisions into account. Now, the individual targets of the divisions can only be seen to be achieved only if the process goes to meet the targets. Now, let us look at the business performance model. We have three kind of metrics here. One is achievement metrics, second is diagnostic metrics, third is competence metrics. Now, when we are talking of achievement metrics, we set the performance targets for a given future period and try to achieve that either maybe from a single division or a single organization or an organization having multiple divisions. Second is the diagnostic metrics. In diagnostic metrics, what happens? The word itself, diagnostic, is coming from diagnosis. We try to look at the various conditions that is happening in the business world. The conditions may be changing. So, looking at the changing dynamic business conditions, we set up the metrics called as diagnostic metrics. Finally, we have competence metrics. We know that most of the organizations which have been successful have a certain core competence. That means their expertise lays or lies in a certain sphere, like engines built by Honda. So here the metrics will be the metrics for performance targets will be based on how much the company is putting in research and development, market development, etc. So that what happens, it can use its expertise and change itself according to the future needs of the market and have performance targets. Now, let us look at the requirements of the performance management system. That one represents the first one. The first thing we require is establishing and updating measures. In having the performance measurement system, we should establish the measurement system, and this measurement system should not be a hard and concrete one, because we know due to the changing scenarios the measures should also be changing. So that is updating of measures. So here what we have to do, we have to have narrow strategic focus. Now we have to look at what is the activity for which we are setting up the measurement system. So accordingly, or according to the activities way of doing it, we set the measurement system. So we say narrow focus, narrow strategic focus, because the activities will lead to achieving the organization's strategy as a whole, or habits, or attain its goal. Second is measure the right thing. We have developed a measurement system, suppose, and we are measuring that for an activity for which it was not intended to serve the purpose. That means the measurement system for which it was constructed or taken up is not used to measure the particular activity. It is being used for certain other activity. So this may lead to the wrong conclusions. So measure the right thing. Means. Performance measurement system is a means to see how we are performing, but it is not an end. We may say that yes, we can judge what our performance is regarding an activity, but if there is no measurement system, it means that there is an end to that activity. No. Even if the performance measurement system is not there, the activity must go on. Here we try to answer another thing. What is to be measured? So a primary thing is we have to see why the measurement should be, or for which activity we want to measure. Now, once we have taken up the activity for which we have to set up the measurement system, we set up a baseline. That means the standards. So the activity must achieve at least the set standards. Now, from time to time, during the period for which the measurement system has been established, we try to look at whether the performance, actual performance, is meeting the baseline. That means the standards. If we are getting some negative conclusions, we have to review why this has happened, how it can be corrected. So these things have to be taken up. Now the performance measurement system, establishing accountability for performance. First we saw was establishing and updating measures. Now we are looking at establishing accountability for performance. First is empowerment. Second is owner identification. Third is reward and incentives. Then we have communication. Then we have problem solving. Now, whenever we try to give authority to a particular manager for any activity, that means we are empowering him to carry out the activity, we should clearly identify the particular person, and we can convey him that yes, if you are performing according to the standards or above the standards, rewards and incentives are definitely there. And all these things have to be communicated from the top management to the middle level managers or the lower level managers by the middle level managers, and the person should have the knowledge, skills, experience, etc. for problem solving. The third requirement is gathering and analyzing performance data. Now, the performance data should be focused one. That means the activity for which the measurement system has been developed and is being carried out, we should focus on the performance of that particular activity. Now, as the time passes by, if any changes are required, the performance measurement system should be flexible enough to be changed. And the results that are coming out should be meaningful. That means the purpose for which the performance management system has been developed should be achieved. The result should give out the proper conclusion to the users. It should be consistent. That means whoever is at the helm or the authority, the measurement should be same for all. That means the performance measurement system should not be biased. It should be consistent. Now the last requirement for performance measurement system is, now we have analyzed the particular information, having reporting and using performance information. Now once the results are coming up, that means the performance indicators or the performance measures are conveying us certain kind of results, they should be informed to various levels of management, be it the lower level or the operational ones, be it the middle level or the executive ones, or the top level management. So if any level of management for whom the performance management system of a particular activity is important finds any kind of negative deviations are occurring, then corrective actions should be suggested and taken up, and any kind of changes can be incorporated. Now, in real world, we can have either single indicatives or multiple indicatives. Let us look at an organization having several divisions. If we look at the organization as a whole and the performance of the organization, suppose, is reflected by its net profit for a given period of time, then we say that it is a single indicator. But this single indicator may be comprised of many divisions indicators. Each division may also be having a numerous number of indicators according to the activities in that particular division. All these combine together to form the single indicator which is used by organization as a whole. When we say organization as a whole, that means it is a overall situation or macro situation. If it is a multiple indicator scenario, we say it as micro situation, or it boils down to each activity having its own indicator. Here, if we look at single indicator, just now with the example we saw, uh, the net profit may not be showing which division is performing better in a certain activity or which division is falling behind. That means the single indicator will be ignoring the various underlying processes. Now, the strategic plans of the organization may be the profit generation, but apart from that, we also think about R&D, research and development, which may give more extra incomes to the organization in the future years. So single indicators may fail to link with strategic plans. The single indicator measures one aspect of business performance. Just as we said, the business performance, we measure it suppose by profit only. In this measurement system, one of the leading organization which has worked upon and developed the measurement project is General Electric organization. What are the type of things they used? First is they measured the overall performance of the department. Similarly, they also measured the performance of functional departments. Now, if an organization is a small one, it may not be having divisions. If it is a big one, it will be having various divisions or departments. So if an organization is a big enterprise or conglomerate, then we say overall performance should be measured. If it is a small one and a functional organization, we measure the performance of the functional areas, as well as the performance of the management is also to be measured. What are the core underlying principles there? Now, provide factual knowledge. The knowledge that we are having regarding the development of the measurement system should be based on facts. So the short-term objectives and long-term objectives should be clearly defined and should be informed to the various level of managers as per the requirement. The third underlying principle they used was minimum number of performance measures should be used in order to measure the performance. Now there they used key success factors. What are they? One was short-term profitability. Second is market share. Third is productivity. When we say productivity, it is the value added divided by all kind of inputs. So the more value added, the more successful is the organization. Product leadership, it comes from research and development. Personal development is required for organization to thrive on the skill set of the employees. Employees' attitude towards the work is also important. The organization should have a public relationship. How? Na? By having certain kind of duties or performing certain duties towards the public, and there should be a balance between short-term objectives and long-term goals. Here already we have seen balance scorecard. So balance scorecard can be technique that we can use here. So when you are talking of performance measurement system, you have to use the various kind of tools that we have discussed, and it is a very important aspect, that is by using the various metrics we have to measure the performances. So with this we conclude our session today. Thank you.